Greetings, sports fans, and welcome back to the original Breath of Fresh Air webcast. I am Charles Taylor, and as you can see, I got Patrick back. Say what's up, Patrick.
What's up? It's been a while. It's been a long, long time.
Yes, it has, man. It's good to have you back in the camp. And hopefully, man, we can keep you in here for a little bit. A little bit of it's my fault too, man, because we've been going through some hard times in life. But right,
We're good, man. We're good. As long as you're on this side of the grass, it's always good, right?
Exactly. Well, Patrick, I'm glad to have you back to talk about college football. Of course, the season is about to get into full swing on Saturday. And tonight we had Ohio State play. They beat Indiana 49-21. Of course, going in, I think they're ranked number 2 in the AP and the coaches polls. So we'll talk more about Ohio State in a little bit. But to start off the review, we have to start with the ACC. Normally we start with the SEC, but we're going to start with the ACC this year because the champion was from that conference last year in the form of the Clemson Tigers. So, Patrick, I will just ask you this about the ACC. Looks like Florida State is the prohibitive favorite there. They're the highest ranked. They're ranked number 3. Of course, they'll play Alabama on Saturday at the new Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta. We will talk about that game in a little bit also. But do you see Clemson defending that championship in the ACC?
No. They lost their quarterback, man. The only reason why they were in there was because of that quarterback. Dude, what's the man's name? I can't think of his name right now. Tired?
Deshaun
Watson. All right, look, man. Plain and simple. His stats put Clemson above every team that they played. I mean, even when they played Alabama in the championship game, man. Yeah, the defense did their part by keeping Alabama at bay, but it was Deshaun Watson who kept extending plays that kept Alabama's defense on the field. You know what I'm saying? So do I see them doing it? No, I don't. I mean, look, whether they rank 7th, I'll have to check it out, man. I think they're ranked 7th or 10th or something like that. But
Clemson, I think, is number 5.
Oh God, has it been that long since I looked at the rankings?
Well, they just came out not too long ago, but this is off the top of my head. But I think
okay. Well, that's a good guess. Clemson number 5, and honestly, I think the rankings are being very generous because they won last year. That I think they're going to drop, man. I mean, you know, Clemson has to play Louisville. Clemson has to play Florida State. You know, a couple of teams out of the other side of the conference within, you know, Duke, who is I mean, my personal opinion, going to surprise a lot of people. You still got Miami. I mean, I don't know, man. I don't see Clemson doing it.
So, do you see Florida State winning?
If I was to pick one in that conference, I'm leaning more towards Florida State. Mostly because they have so many returning players, and their offense is almost the same. I mean, I think they have like 1 or 2 more additions to it, but they're the same. That's the same team.
Yeah, I agree. I think I give Florida State a slight edge. Clemson, because that game in Clemson is, or actually, when Florida State plays Clemson, Florida State's coming there. And so it'll be tough to win there in Death Valley. But I think, yeah, I would probably give Florida State a little nod. Louisville, a lot of people forget, man, they still do have the Heisman Trophy winner there, Lamar Jackson. And they're returning a lot of people, too. So I'll give you 2 teams, man. I think Louisville can make some noise. I think NC State can make a little bit of noise, too, because they have a lot of returning players as well.
Can they put it together?
Yeah, that seems to be the issue a lot of times with NC
They are the
State.
Arkansas of the ACC, dude.
We'll get to Arkansas in a little bit. Because I know, I remember what you told me the other day that somebody wanted us to mention Arkansas. What we got?
Yeah, one of my homegirls want me to mention some Arkansas, so I'm going to mention Arkansas.
All right. Yep, sounds good, man. So both of us have Florida State winning the ACC because of course, they have the championship game in that conference too. So who do you think? So if we have Florida State winning the Atlantic, who do you have winning the Coastal? Miami, North Carolina, which
one? Dude. See, this is what, man. I'm gonna go with Miami, but man, there's something about that Duke team, dude. I want to go for that underdog, man, but I'm gonna go with Miami. I can't go against Mark Richt, man.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yep, I forgot. Yep, he is the coach there.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with
Georgia
Miami.
roots.
Yeah, Miami's a really strong team, man. They recruited well this year, very, very well this year. Ranked really high, and I like what Mark Richt's doing down there, man. They're going to be a strong team. I think they're going to win the Coastal. I think it's going to be Florida State versus Miami, but Florida State going to win it.
All right, yeah, I'm with you there. I think it'll be Miami or maybe Vatech. I think Vatech can get it now.
Well, no.
Man, Vatech, man, Virginia Tech, boy, dude. Virginia Tech is always solid, man, and they bring that defense a lot. So I might stay with Virginia Tech on that one. I can understand Miami. Don't get me wrong. I mean, Miami look like they're getting the recruiting there, but I think I'll stick with Virginia Tech. So I got Florida State and Vatech.
Okay. I mean, I think you're wrong, but okay.
Yeah, hey, I could be wrong too. Well, Patrick, let's move on to the SEC now. I think the SEC is pretty cut and dry. So I'll just start with this question. Do you agree with me that it looks like it would be Alabama, or do you have somebody else there?
Who else would it be?
Yeah, true. And so
I mean, look, there's a lot of good teams on there, and and I'm gonna give Arkansas a hard time, but look, they stopped wearing again. This is the same question that arises every single year. Are they going to worry about themselves? Are they going to worry about the rest of the West? You know what I mean? It's that same lingering question every year. Are you going to worry about yourself? Or are you going to worry about the rest of the team in the West? If they worry about themselves, I think they'll be fine. I mean, I don't think they're going to beat Alabama.
Yeah, okay.
No, they ain't gonna be Alabama. I mean, you got Auburn. I'm really not sold on this defense in Auburn. LSU, really not sold on the offense. So, I mean, and then you got Mississippi. You got the Mississippi's and Texas A&M, and I don't even feel like discussing that crap. So,
yeah, Mississippi hot best. But look, Alabama. Okay, so I guess we agree Alabama should win the SEC. So I'll just ask this question: who do you think the biggest threat to them is? And I'm talking about both divisions.
Georgia and Florida.
Yeah, and that's where I'm going with the two. I think Georgia. I think they win the East, but my dark horses are two. I have two dark horses. Auburn and Florida are my two dark horses, and I'll tell you why. Because both of those teams have good defenses. Florida, of course, this is forgotten, but Florida has won the East 2 years in a row. So they've always had a strong defense, but they can never get an offense together. Auburn has the same problem. They can't put an offense together. So if both of those teams get offenses with their defenses.
Okay, yeah.
They said that
wrong. I said that wrong. I meant Auburn doesn't have a good offense and LSU doesn't have a good defense. when I was talking
Got
about
you. Yep.
I mean, that's what I meant. Honestly, I don't have any dark horses in the SEC at all.
Pretty cut and dry. Alabama and
I think it's going to be Georgia and Alabama. And I'm saying this, and I'm not really saying this as a Georgia fan. I'm going to say this because I really feel that because Georgia recruited strong this year, they almost beat Alabama.
And they have a lot of people returning.
And they have tons of people returning. And their running back core, God. So this is one of those things where I'm leaning towards Alabama to win the SEC, but this would not surprise me one bit to see Georgia win it.
And Chubb, for you talking about the running backs, Chubb and Michelle are returning, right?
Mm-hmm. Both of them.
Yeah.
And Michelle put on 12 pounds and Chubb has put on 23.
Yeah. So yeah.
Anymore. He was like 180. Now he's like 202. Yeah, dude. He's like insane.
Well, all right, man. Well, yeah, so pretty cut and dry in the SEC. Like I said, I think it'll be Alabama and Georgia as well. I think Auburn and Florida could definitely make some noise if they can both get offenses going. Another team that I'll give you, Kentucky, man. I think Kentucky could be pretty solid.
So they scare me every year.
They could be pretty solid, man.
Georgia
they've been recruiting a little bit better.
Yeah, well, they've gotten consistently better every year. But Georgia can be ranked 1 and win every game and lose to Kentucky. Happens every year. They scare me.
Oh, man. And then about Arkansas, man, you brought up Arkansas. You know what I'm going to say. They're one of the most overhyped teams, man. I've been waiting for Arkansas to come up. That's all I kept hearing. Brett Bielema going to get them back going. Hasn't happened yet. So we'll see, man. But yeah, I'm with you. I don't see them. Arkansas will probably catch a loss to Toledo or somebody, and then
they start worrying about how everybody else is in the West, and because I want to believe in them. I do. I'm gonna continue to shake my head.
Yeah.
No, don't get me wrong. They have all the talent in the world to prove us wrong. They do. They recruit well. They have an outstanding returning squad. They could have all the talent in the world to prove us wrong, but I don't see it.
Well, all right, man. Well, the SEC cut and dry, and I get a feeling the Big Ten might be just as cut and dry, but maybe not. So I'll ask you this, Patrick, to start off Big Ten talk. Is this the year Michigan finally wins the Big Ten?
It could be. It could be. But no. I got Ohio State winning it. This is one of those conferences, man. It's just like the SEC. You roll with the winner until you're proven wrong, man. I mean, it's simple as that. Ohio State, they won tonight 49-21, but chances are, man, they were probably blowing out that team by the third quarter. I don't see it, man. I'd like to see Michigan go. I mean, that to me would be awesome because I do not want Ohio State to win that division. But now I'm gonna roll with Ohio State. They're too strong. Urban Meyer, he knows how to coach, man. So I go Ohio State.
Now, Patrick, remember, Penn State won this bad boy last year. They ended up playing Wisconsin in the Big Ten title game. Do you see Penn State maybe messing that up a little bit?
No.
Not at all.
No.
Penn State got a lot of people returning though.
They can have everybody returning. They got a mark on their back from Ohio State from last year, man.
Yeah, true. And yet, in that game, we'll be in Columbus this year too. So
I don't. Honestly, So Ohio State has Michigan in Michigan this? No, they have them in Ohio State this year.
No. You got it right the first time. They go to Ann Arbor this year. Yeah. And then so Penn State comes to Columbus.
You know what? Since we haven't stopped the webcast yet, I'm gonna roll with them. I'm gonna roll with Michigan. I'm gonna roll with Michigan. I'm gonna roll with them. I want to. I've been wanting to for about 2 weeks now. I'm gonna make it official. I'm going with Michigan.
Michigan. I like it, Patrick. I want to do it too, but I'm not.
I've been wanting to.
I'm with the saying you said earlier, man. True proven product there. Although Ohio State didn't win it last year, it was Penn State. So, but I guess it's proven in the way they have Urban Meyer as the head coach, and you pretty much know he will have them ready. Jim Harbaugh, man. I mean, everything's just been kind of hype machine. But when they get on the field, the results haven't really met it yet. Maybe they've been building towards something, and I would like to see them do it too, to be honest. But I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm not that confident. I'll stay with Ohio State for now.
My heart says Michigan. My head says Ohio State. I'm gonna go with my heart.
You want your heart? All right, I got you, man. I got you. And do they play? Do you think they play Wisconsin in the championship game?
At this point, I don't see why not. I mean,
yeah. I mean,
who else?
I agree. I mean,
it's like Cleveland,
Minnesota, Iowa, maybe. Yeah.
No,
Nebraska's garbage to me.
Maybe Iowa.
I think Nebraska's just overrated.
Maybe Iowa. Iowa put up a lot of tough games last year. But that was the team that just couldn't finish. They couldn't finish those big games that they needed to finish. And I mean, honestly, they couldn't even finish some of the small games that they should have finished, like one or two of them. But I mean, Iowa, they could possibly make some noise in there. I guess if I'm going to pick a dark horse, that would be one of them. But no, Wisconsin.
All right. Well, and I agree with you. I think Wisconsin will be the representative out of the Big 12 West or Big 10 West, excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. I'm with you on there. But I got them playing Ohio State. I hope I'm wrong because I don't really like Ohio State either. But I don't know if Michigan's going to be the team to do it. A part of me wants to pick Penn State again, really do, but I don't think so. I think it'll be Ohio
State. There's no part of me wants to pick
you're on that Michigan train, so I got you.
I was on it last year too.
Well, yeah, true. You did. Yep. Well, let's roll over to the Big 12. Yeah. I'll just ask who you think's gonna win. You got OK State. I want to do that just so I don't have to pick Oklahoma.
I mean, I want to pick Texas, man. I mean, I was on that train last year, dude, and
we trash.
Until something big changes in Texas, I'm not rolling with that team. I don't know what's going on in the Lone Star State, man. But y'all can't get right.
Yeah, I mean, look, here's the thing. If Tom Herman comes in here and he's supposed to be this recruiting genius that everybody keeps saying, then yes, he could get Texas back rolling because the bottom line is he does not have to leave the state. You are the University of Texas. There's no reason why and I say we because that is my team, there's no reason why we should even have to leave the state for recruiting. No reason. We have everything here in this state. So if he can keep the homegrown talent and get those 4 or 5-star recruits out of the state, then yes, UT can be back having top 4 or 5 recruiting classes, and then they can start to build up a power and get this university back to prominence where, quite frankly, it belongs. I mean, you have 33rd ranked recruiting classes. You know, I mean, dude, Kentucky had a
you're
better
losing recruits to Ohio State. I mean, come on.
Yeah. You know, see, and that's what I'm saying. Like, Kentucky had a better recruiting class. Kentucky's a basketball school. Now, I know I gave them props earlier, but Kentucky's a basketball school, and they have a better recruiting class than Texas, dude. It's terrible. It's terrible.
Well, Vanderbilt's like almost up above them too, and that's a lacrosse team. That's a lacrosse school.
How terrible is that? So,
football with sticks, dog, and they still beating y'all.
But if Tomer, one thing I'll say about Texas is, even though Charlie Strong, because I'm still salty about the way Charlie Strong left or got let go, but he had a lot of talent there. That's one thing he did do, is bring a lot of talent there. So if Herman can come in, set that foundation, and get them playing good, then we'll see. Now, granted, this is something else I'm not going to like. We have to go out to LA and play USC in week 3, man. I think we're going to get blasted. I hope I'm wrong, but I think we're going to get blasted out there.
Nah, it's like one of the games I have y'all winning.
Oh, that is because we'll get on USC in a minute, because we know you don't like USC. So, but you got Oklahoma State winning the Big 12.
State, yeah. I don't really see any teams giving them too much of a problem. I mean, Baylor, I guess might be able to do some. Oklahoma, but no, I think Oklahoma State should probably win it pretty convincingly.
All right, man. Yeah, because I know. I mean, I can't stand saying this, but Oklahoma will be in the running. I mean, they have a lot of people returning. They have a new coach, because Bob Stoops stepped down. So they'll be in the running. I mean, because I'm looking at these other teams. TCU isn't quite the same. West Virginia, I don't know what they're going to come up with. I mean, I think they'll be good, but I don't know if they have enough to get with OK State or Oklahoma. And then you have Texas Tech. I have to make a Texas Tech reference for my manager at the job that I work at with Frisco. So Texas Tech, we know they can put up points, but I think they're allergic to defense. Yeah, they are allergic to defense. They love it. So, but you know they're gonna score points. So if you get in the shootout,
that's one of those games. Where you call like what was it that I called a couple years ago when TCU played somebody, and I was like, yeah, no, it's gonna be like a 60-57 game. And it was like literally 63-60.
Yeah.
How do you throw up 123 points in a game?
And it was TCU and Texas Tech. It sure was. I remember that game. It was, man. TCU won on a last-second touchdown.
I remember it. I was sitting there. I was like, I can't believe I almost called that game. I almost called the score.
Oh, boy. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to pick Oklahoma State because I want to pick Oklahoma. So we're going to do that.
I agree with you. I ain't picking Oklahoma either.
Oklahoma. That. But, I mean, that in all actuality, man, I mean, they'll be good in the conference. I mean, and I'm just saying that because there's no other team in that conference that could rise up. I forgot to mention Kansas State. Kansas State will be consistent. They'll be tough, but I don't know. Yeah, I mean, 8-4, 93 seems to be where they would be. But yeah, I don't know if they have enough offense. So, well, all right. Well, let's move on to your favorite conference there, Patrick. The Pac-12. Yes, sir. And I gotta ask you.
You keep on, Charles. Keep on. This is like the diarrhea conference of the whole NCAA. This is the leftovers.
So, I can't believe that.
This conference is you know when you throw up or you take a dump, and they always say flush once for the bulk and flush the second time for the remainder.
Yeah.
Such a crappy conference. I don't even know why they even considered a conference.
Well, Patrick, I'm still tripping out that you threatened me with the hammer. So, so
don't call them my favorite team then, or my favorite conference.
Well,
I got more tools here somewhere. Here you go.
Well, Patrick, how about looking at how you think this conference will break down? Now, obviously, USC is hyped up again to do some great things. They're number 4 in the rankings, 4th in the rankings. Sam Darnold, the quarterback, is getting ridiculous amounts of pub, Heisman Trophy consideration, blah, 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 blah. And then down in UCLA, same thing with that other quarterback, Josh Rosen. I think both of them are overrated, but whatever. That's neither here or there. Do you think Washington is the team to beat in the Pac-12? I mean, they won the conference last year.
Honestly, yeah, I do. I think Washington is the team to beat. I mean, you're gonna get what you're gonna get from almost everybody in this conference. Stanford, they'll win some, they'll lose some. They'll throw the ball. They'll try to throw the ball down the field and get picked. Bunch of pick sixes this year. Same thing last year. Same thing year before. California.
They're like Texas Tech.
Yeah. I mean, you could throw up a half a century on every team, but you're gonna get like double nickels thrown on you.
Same with Oregon, right?
Same with Oregon. Washington is your most consistent team in all of the Pac-12, and especially in the North, because Washington State, well, that will probably be a losing record. Oregon State, probably another losing record. Then you move to the South, Utah. What can Utah do that we have been trying to say that they're going to do for the past 5 years? Yet they do the exact opposite. Arizona State, they'll win 1 or 2 big games out of their conference, and then that'll be it, because they're like Kentucky in the SEC. They're strong basketball school, but then when they get on football, they play very mediocre, and then it's like, well, USC is ranked 4th. We're going to play them. We're going to beat them, and then we're going to turn around and lose to Oregon State. I don't get it. Arizona, nah. Colorado, nah. UCLA, like you said, hot machine. I don't know how I feel about that quarterback yet. I mean, he's a freshman.
He's a junior, but he's still not that good. So I mean,
well, you see how much I listen to UCLA then.
Yeah, Josh Rosen, that dude ain't, man, he's been hyped up for 2 seasons. And he is.
There you go. I have no clue who he is, and I don't really care. It's UCLA.
So who do you have? So do you have USC coming out of the South then? I mean, you just broke down all the teams, and there's no reason to believe anybody could beat them.
I honestly, I don't think. Do I have to pick a winner? They're all going to lose.
So, well, if you put it that way, then no, Patrick, you don't have to pick a winner.
Oh, well,
but yeah, I mean,
I guess
if you have Washington win in the conference, then yeah.
If I was to pick a team, I mean,
it's by default, right? I mean, coming out of the South, anyways, by default.
Well, I mean, I haven't got on USC.
Well, you're gonna have to.
USC? I was gonna break them down worse than UCLA, but I mean, if I was to pick, I would probably say Washington and UCLA, and Washington's gonna wax UCLA.
So are you just hating on USC right now? You're just picking the lesser of 2 evils.
Absolutely.
Okay.
I ain't gonna hide that. I can't stand that team.
All right, man. Yeah, I'm doing the same thing for Oklahoma, so I can't say nothing. But
Fair and fair.
yes,
I am
yes,
not
it
picking
is.
USC, and I simply refuse to.
So Washington, UCLA, and
Yeah.
Washington winning the conference.
Yeah, I got Washington waxing UCLA. I mean, I'm gonna go ahead and put a score out there for you right now. You ready?
Yes.
You sure?
Yeah. I mean,
49-7.
what?
That's a bit ridiculous. I mean, UCLA will score 49-10. I give 10.
Okay.
I give them
Throw
a
a
field
field
goal.
goal out there. Okay.
I give them a field goal.
Oh boy. Well, all right, Patrick. Well, that ends the breakdown of the conferences. So to go through it again, so in the ACC, you have Florida State and Virginia. No, you have Florida State and Miami.
Mm-hmm.
In the ACC championship game with Florida State winning.
Yeah.
All right, and in the SEC, you have Alabama and Georgia with Alabama winning.
Yeah.
Big Ten, Michigan and Wisconsin, and Michigan winning.
Yep. No, did I say Wisconsin?
Yeah, coming out of the West.
Yeah.
With Michigan winning.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And in the Big 12, because the Big 12, I think, has a chance. They're actually going to have a championship game this year. So the way they're doing it
How are they going to do that?
They're the top two teams in the standings will play in the championship game. Yeah.
It sounds about as bad as baseball and adding another freaking playoff game for the wild card.
Yeah, and all it is, I mean, just think about it, man. The Big 12, because they haven't had a championship game in the conference since they went down to 10 teams, they've been getting left out of the playoff. So they figure if they have a championship game, then that will enhance their chances of getting back into the playoff. And that's basically what's been that's the main reason for getting that in there. Oh, by the way, quick little baseball nugget here. Justin Verlander's going to the Astros. So yeah.
Like the Astros need somebody else like that.
So yeah, that quick little baseball nugget there. Interesting. Yeah, move. I mean,
It's an interesting move.
Houston struggles a little bit with their starting pitching because they had just gotten Keuchel just returned not too long ago, and in the second half,
interesting move. I don't know why I mean, are they that desperate for a starting pitcher? I mean, Keuchel has only been back for like 2 weeks.
I think so, man, and I think there was a little bit of pressure because they were waiting for them to do something in the trade deadline, and they didn't. Now, did they really need to? I mean, that's left to be desired. I don't know necessarily. I mean, they have a very young team, so I mean, I was thinking they were going to get better, but I mean, if you're saying you can get Justin Verlander and you think that's going to get you closer to the World Series, I can see them doing it. I mean, I'm not upset at the move. But yeah, interesting. It is interesting.
I want to see how that works out for him.
Yes, sir. Well, okay. But yeah. But back to the Big 12. Yes, they will have a championship game, and it's the top two teams in the standings, and then they'll play. And I think the game is here in AT&T Stadium, and then that's the conference championship game. So you have Oklahoma State winning.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, me too.
Yeah, it don't matter who's second place. They are. All they are is first loser.
And in the Pac-12, you have Washington and UCLA, with Washington winning 49-10. Since you gave a score.
49-10. Right. Yeah. Go ahead and document that.
Okay. So I got Florida State and Vatech with Florida State winning. I have Alabama and Georgia. Alabama winning. I have Ohio State and Wisconsin with Ohio State winning. I don't know. Man, I do not want to put Oklahoma in there. Not at all. I might just say
Oklahoma versus.
I just say West Virginia out of spite. Just put like West Virginia or or TCU in there out of spite. I don't have enough confidence in us yet. So
pick whoever you want to. Oklahoma State's going to win it anyway, but it's going to be Oklahoma versus Oklahoma State. But pick whoever you want to. Oklahoma State's going to win it. So
yeah. Oh my gosh. That. We'll skip that. But I got Oklahoma State with it. and I have Washington and I mean, yeah, I'm gonna pick USC. UCLA is terrible. They're garbage. But I'm picking garbage. So
this is another one of those things, Charles, where it doesn't matter.
I mean, I think they're gonna get blasted by Texas A&M this weekend again. So I do it. They get blasted. At that time, it's gonna be. At this time, it's gonna be out there on the West Coast. You remember last year when UCLA came to College Station? So yeah, man. But I have Washington in the Pac-12 too. So let's look at a couple of the games, Patrick, and then we'll wrap this bad boy up, man. Let's start with Florida and Michigan. Who do you have winning that game? Florida. It seems like everybody's suspended on Florida for this game.
Yeah.
So do you think they have enough talent?
I'm surprised the Waterboy ain't suspended on this game. Unfortunately, man, I got Michigan winning this game. And I don't have them winning it by much. I mean, I think Florida is good enough, even with their suspended players, to make this a close game. But Michigan, I have Michigan 28-24.
2024. This is a good score. You know what? I'm going to go 27-23. Florida. Yes. Ooh. I think Florida. Yeah. I think Florida's beating Michigan to me, man. They just, just this hype train, man. I don't know. Michigan got to show me
Florida
something.
Didn't have those suspended players. I go with Florida, but those suspended players are there's like 20 of them.
Yeah, I mean the whole Florida gonna have to start
really like
from basketball team or something.
But
I think Florida got enough. I don't know. Michigan's just that hype machine, man. I'm disappointed in them. So maybe that's just me being salty.
I am going to say this. It's very, very rare that you see me go against an SEC team that's outside conference. Very rare. That's true. Very, very rare. I will say this, though. I have Michigan winning. I want Florida to win.
I hear you.
Those suspended players, man, there's like 3 wide receivers that they need out. That's hard to pick. So I want Florida to win. I'm going to be rooting for Florida, but I think Michigan's going to win it 28-24.
2024. All right, I got you, man. I'm going. That's one of those heart picks. I'm going 27-23 Florida. I think Florida will be able to pull it out, man, because Michigan struggles to score, and I don't see where they're gonna make that improvement to score, especially against a defense like Florida's. So I think Florida can make enough plays. They could get a big play off their special teams. They could get a big play maybe out of their defense or something, and I think they can pull this out. So we'll see. Wouldn't surprise me to see Michigan win because Florida has their whole team suspended. But I'm going to take a shot here, Florida.
Hey, and I'm taking a shot on Michigan in their conference anyway. So
yeah, that's true. Hey, let's look at Florida State and Alabama.
We'll see how it goes.
All right. Well, let's look at Florida State and Alabama. So again, Patrick, they're playing in the brand new Mercedes-Benz. Huh?
You jumping right into that one?
Well,
I mean, want to talk about this West Virginia Baugh Tech game?
Well, that one's on Sunday. So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, we can. Well, I mean, we can. You're right. We'll do an audible there. So let's talk about West Virginia and Virginia Tech. We'll say you're right because, yeah, we normally save the biggest game for last. All right, you're right. So we'll go West Virginia and Virginia Tech there. It's an interesting game. They're playing in the Redskins Stadium, FedEx Field. So how you see that one going?
I mean, to me, this is a really cut and dry game. You know, I gave Virginia Tech a lot of crap earlier in this, but West Virginia, man, I got them. I got them handling West Virginia pretty well, man. I think this is going to be, like I said, Virginia Tech going to come out play really clean football against this team. 35-14.
Ooh, blowout. All right. I like it. I got Virginia Tech winning too. West Virginia is interesting because you know West Virginia can score. Their defense, it depends on the day. I mean, West Virginia could have a good defense, and then other days they don't have a good defense at all. So I have it a little bit closer. I have not West Virginia. Sorry, I have Virginia Tech winning. I'm gonna go. I think it'll be a little bit lower scoring, man. I'm gonna go 31-28 is what I'll go with. Because West Virginia can score. I mean, this guy, you know, I'm here in Big 12 country, so you see a good amount of West Virginia to know these dudes can put up some points. They'll throw the ball all over the place. Their coach Dana Holgorsen, I think his name is. I always say it wrong, but that dude he's an air raid type of dude. They're gonna they're gonna air it out. But I think Virginia Tech can control the line of scrimmage. They can get the running game going, and they can keep the offense off the field a little bit. And West Virginia, I think, will tire at the end. So I got Virginia Tech winning that game. Let's see. We'll talk about one more, and then we'll jump in Florida State and Alabama. Tennessee, Georgia Tech. What do you think about that one on Monday night?
I honestly did not think you were going to go there. I mean, look, Georgia Tech's a good team. They're not good enough to beat Tennessee. I got Tennessee winning. I do think it's going to be a close game. I think the triple option is going to trip up Tennessee enough to let Georgia Tech score a few touchdowns. But I think Tennessee can still score a lot of points, and they
lost a lot of people, though, man.
They did. They lost a lot of people, but they didn't lose. They didn't lose enough to where I would feel that Georgia Tech could beat them. I do think it's going to be close. I would probably say 21-17.
Tennessee. Yeah, man. I think I'm going Georgia Tech on this one, Patrick. I mean, because Tennessee has lost. Yeah, man. Because Tennessee, like I said, they've lost a lot of people, man. And I don't know what that quarterback situation's looking like. I don't know.
Pretty solid.
Who's their quarterback? Because they lost Dobbs.
Well, they lost Dobbs, but I mean, they picked a quarterback quick. I mean, really quick. And I don't know the cat's name, but I mean, they picked him quick. And they were like, "This is our starter." So I mean, they feel really confident in that, and I like that. I haven't seen the kid play or anything like that. I mean, I've seen some YouTube stuff of him, but that was high school stuff, and you know how that can be. We watched that last year when I was like, "Oh, we getting Jacob Eason," and then the cat throws. I mean, that's here or there.
Well, this year you might be saying, "Oh, you got Jacob Easton."
Oh, I will be. Because the kids got experience now. I mean, that's what I'm saying with freshmen and bringing in a new quarterback. It's always a hard build, but I mean, you know, look how well Georgia did with Jacob Eason last year, and I think Tennessee can do the same thing. From what I see, the kid's pretty good. I mean, but I haven't seen him playing in college level. practices or anything.
Well, all right, man. Well, we'll roll with it, man. I think I wouldn't be surprised either way with that game. That's a pick 'em game to me, actually. And they're playing that game in Atlanta, on Georgia Tech's home field, I think. So it is going to be interesting there Monday night, Labor Day night. This is going to be a good game. I'll roll with Georgia. I'll go 2017, Georgia Tech 2017. I think Tennessee could easily win 2017. Huh?
I said one of us is going to be right. I said 21-17. You said 2017.
Yeah, because I think it's going to be close, man. Yeah, I don't see a high-scoring game there. I mean, I see
the offense to do it.
Yeah, exactly. And so, I mean, if it gets to 27-24, that would be shocking to me.
Oh, yeah, me
so
too.
I think so. I'll go 2017 Georgia Tech. And to close it out, man, let's talk about this Florida State Alabama biggest game of the week, playing at the brand new Mercedes-Benz Stadium there in Atlanta. What do you think about this game, and who do you have winning?
I think this is going to be a really good game. I think this is going to be one of those. This is going to be one of those games where you're like, man, this is almost like a championship game at the beginning of the year kind of thing. I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be somewhat close. I think this is one of those games where Florida State can keep it close up until Alabama forces its will, of course. I have Alabama winning 35-21.
Solid victory.
Solid. But it's going to take 4 quarters to get there. I think that's when what's his name? Quarterback Jalen Hurts, is that his name?
Yeah, Jalen Hurts.
I think he's going to he'll take over right at the end of the third quarter, beginning of the fourth quarter, and it'll probably stay pretty solid 21-21 kind of thing, going back and forth. Then Hurt will take over and go ahead and put 2 more up on the board, and that'll be game. So Alabama 35-21.
Oh, all right, yeah. I have it a little closer. I mean, Florida State's going to be ready to play. You know, the coach, Jimbo Fisher, will have them ready to play. I want to see the quarterback for Florida State. His name, I think, Deondre Francois is his name, and he got whooped last year. I mean, he took a lot of punishment last year, and seeing Alabama isn't exactly what you want to see if you have some offensive line problems. So
that one is the biggest defensive line in college football.
Yeah. So yeah. So I don't know how that's gonna sit with them. I do think if they can get protection for him, they'll be able to complete some passes because Alabama lost a lot from the secondary. They have one dude returning. I think it's Mika Fitzpatrick. Besides him, though, we've got a young secondary. So if Florida State can protect Francois and enable him some time to throw, there are some plays I think that could be had. But I think because of the coaching with Nick Saban and how everything is pretty tight. And then another thing with Alabama is if you're going to beat them, you know that quarterback play has to be on point. It got to be pretty good. And another thing you have to be able to do at that quarterback position is run. The dual threat quarterbacks are what give Alabama trouble. Francois, I don't think runs enough to really give them a lot of trouble. So I think because of that, among other reasons, and I think Alabama's offensive line will control the line of scrimmage, and they'll be able to get a good running game going. So I got Alabama winning. I'm gonna go a little bit closer. I'll go 30. No. 30-20 is what I'll go with. I think they'll win by 10 points. And yeah, they did in the third, fourth quarter. Alabama and that depth does start to take over, and that's saying a little something because I mean Florida State has depth too, but I
Oh
think
yeah, but
Alabama has it.
when you got the depth Alabama has, they're not making that same mistake they made last year.
Yeah. So it'd be interesting to see, man. Well, Patrick, it was good having you back in the show, man. And
Absolutely.
you gotta,
Good.
and now that I got the computer situation straightened out, man, you'll be back out here more. So,
Nice.
or back to how it used to be at least. So,
yeah, at least that.
Yeah. So, man, hey, that will wrap up the Breath of Fresh Air College Football Preview Special. Make sure you check it out. Leave opinions on it. Who you think is winning the conferences that we picked out, or even if you want to talk about some other dark horse from one of the other conferences, that's fine as well. Also, check this show out on Facebook, LinkedIn, Google Plus, and Twitter, because I'm gonna post them on all those. Any parting words from you, Patrick, before we wrap up?
Nope, I'm good.
Well, all right, man. Man, it's so good to have you back, Patrick. So, so until then, for Patrick, I am Charles, and we will be back with more shows coming up in the future. Take care.